throughout Boston, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives. So much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics.
Are you on mic? It doesn't sound like you're on.
All
right.
Got a little frog in my throat.
49.
All right. Just we'll feed it
We'll
a fly or
shake that
something.
out.
Make it go away.
Instagram,
Feed it
and
some
wherever
coffee.
you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And good morning to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined today by the one and only Tracy Grady.
Good morning, South Shore.
Good morning.
What's it been, like 2 weeks?
Yeah, South Shore and beyond. No, it's been
South
longer
Shore
than that because you were on a little vacation.
I was on a nice little vacation away to the Mediterranean, which was lovely. We planned one really great trip a year. So this was our one great trip a year. And we did a cruise. We flew into Athens.
And your son went with you.
At the last minute, our son Colin decided, hey, do you mind if I jump on your vacation? Do you mind? I'm like, no, fine with me, especially when they become the age that they can pay for themselves.
Yes.
It makes it so much
more
enjoyable.
And didn't you say that he got a better room than you?
He actually got a better room than we did. We booked our trip probably almost a year ago. He booked his a month and a half before us. And he's like, yeah,
I'm getting the presidential suite.
Basically, I got a junior suite. I'm like, you little.
Did you hang out in his room?
Then I guess we'll be pre-gaming in your room.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Colin, it really wasn't a lot different than our room. It was just one floor up. So I guess you could say his view was a little bit better. But excuse me,
That's
so much
funny.
of a frog. So we did stay in the, we've never stayed in the sanctuary haven. Like all of these cruise lines have these updated sections that you can stay in. And there are quite a bit extra money per person. So we've always avoided it. We usually travel with 9 people, 5 kids and 4 dogs.
Yeah.
So we sprung for it this time. And we thought, all right, let's see if it's really worth the money. Well, let me tell you, it is so worth the money.
Oh, really?
Oh,
why?
Because
treated like royalty?
You are in a whole separate section of the ship, like your chair area, your rest. You have a separate restaurant.
It's like the Titanic. You're first class.
It is like being first class in the Titanic. I think this sums it up. In the afternoon, there was this flower wall that they put up, like one of those decorative flower walls that we have at the restaurant. Yeah. And they have 4 little doors in it, and there's a bell. And at 3:00 in the afternoon, they put the bell out, and you ring the bell, and a little door opens, and a white gloved hand hands you a glass of Prosecco and waves at you, and then the little door shuts and it goes away. Oh, every time you ring the bell, you get a glass.
So did you just hear people ringing the bell
all afternoon? You like it, you ding 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 ding. I'm sure I rang the bell numerous amounts of times.
Oh my gosh!
It was well worth the. I hate to use the term, but it's like you're up in your own area of the pool, and there's plenty of chairs for everybody. There's like little cabanas you can sit in, and then you go down into the regular part of the ship, and it's kind of like chaos.
This place is a dump.
We're down here with the riffraff. I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we had like our own. We had our own buffet line that we could go through, and so then you go down to like the regular buffet line, and it's like elbows and people in your way, and
all you can hear is, silverware clanging, and
I was like, wow, this definitely was worth. And then they have upgraded restaurants on board the ship. Those are all included, so you can make reservations. So we had a couple of reservations at the upgraded restaurants, plus we had our own regular dining room, which was just smaller than the bigger dining room. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it was our own dining room.
Yeah,
we were with other people, but other people in the sanctuary class.
Yes,
not the other people.
So you'll splurge every year.
I don't think you could go back. I don't think I could go back after that. It was really fantastic.
It's so funny because I go to games a year, and we sit in the 300s. We get what we can afford, and we don't splurge and everything. And then one year for for my birthday, Ethan got us center ice. It was like the 6th row. And we were sitting down there. We're like, oh gosh, we could never go back up there.
We can go to the cheap.
We could never go back to the 300s. Oh my gosh, this is a lap of luxury. And then we did go back the next time, and we were like, oh gosh, this place is a dump.
Riff-raff. I'm here with the riff.
We sat up top, and we were like, everyone was screaming, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I miss row 6 so much.
I had a friend who had season tickets to the Bruins, like not the whole season, but like games, and they were always in the box, not a box seat, but like where that little bar is up. Man, you just sat at the edge, and you had your own little stool, and you're overlooking everything. We'd go to the Celtics or the Bruins.
Yeah.
Man, I miss those tickets. Those were good tickets.
And now you're living life on the sea.
Now, Knife on the Sea. Yeah, wonderful cruise though. Great ports. We went to Montenegro, which I never knew was its own country. Bar. We did an olive oil tour there. Fantastic. We went to Sicily. We did. Where else did we go? Mykonos, Corfu, and then we ended in Barcelona.
Very nice.
Which was lovely.
Yes.
And then we got off the ship in Barcelona. We stayed 2 days, and we went to La Familia, which I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Like literally, I do no research before I get on this. I'm like, just get me on the ship, and I'll go wherever you tell me to go. So we get to La Familia, and I'm like, what the heck is this? It was the biggest structure I've ever seen in my. And I've been to New York, and yes, skyscrapers are huge, but this is all hand built, ornate church that is just taken 100 years to build, and it's still not done.
Wow,
it's supposed to be done this year. They're finishing up the final tower. If you've never looked at it, Google it or do a YouTube of La Familia in Barcelona. It is breathtaking. Yeah, it was great.
And another one of our agents, Michelle Fay, was in Barcelona at the same time.
I know, Michelle Fay. The two of us were
that?
like paralleling each other's trip, like we're talking to each other along the way. I'm like, where are you? Where are you? She's like, I think I can see your ship across the harbor. Like,
that is so funny.
Yeah, so it was funny. Yeah, she had a heck of a trip too.
We always find each other, even on the other side of the world.
We do find each other. And then the other strange thing is that we're doing a transaction right now. We got a house under agreement here in Pembroke. The agent that's representing the buyers is in Montenegro.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm him from Barcelona, and we're talking, and he's like, where are you? I'm in Barcelona. He's like, I'm for Montenegro next weekend. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what?
I guess it's the place to go this year.
It is definitely the place to go.
It is the place to go. But I'm so glad that you had a great time.
Had a great time. Yep. Had a great time.
And Colin.
Yep. Colin, just a great time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super.
So that's awesome.
Bell ringing in James. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
One day they had mimosas.
Oh.
The guy waiting at the bar to get a mimosa, and he's like, just go over to the wall, just ring the bell. They're doing mimosas today. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? Like, where's the note? Where's my memo?
You had to get on an email chain.
Wasn't in the patter. I read the Princess Patter in the morning. It wasn't in the patter.
That's so funny. Well, I'm glad that you had no nightmares on your cruise. And I'm saying nightmares because that's what we're talking about today. So it is spooky season, and it will be ending in a week. Woo!
Yep.
And good morning, Tim. How are you?
Tim's here.
Doing fine. Thank you, Melissa. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I think it's the first time I've been here without a baseball hat on.
Oh yeah, I know. You're all ready for the day. Ready for the day.
Do the function.
So we are going to be talking about real estate nightmares today.
And could you have picked a better co-host for this one?
I know. Well, Sharon and I were going to do it last weekend, and then we decided to talk about home inspections again because of the new regulation that went into effect the previous week. So that made sense. And then, she, couldn't do the show today. So I'm like, I'm going to ask Tracy because you were going to call in.
Oh, I was calling in.
And then I'm like, she could go.
You have nothing else to do today. You have nothing to do. Such a light schedule.
Yeah, light schedule today. But yeah, so like I said, it is spooky season. I love Halloween, but I feel like this year is different. Like I'm not as into it as I normally like. I don't know. Maybe it was because I went on vacation and then came back and I was like sort of already in the season type of thing. So I'm just like, all right, moving on. But yeah, so it's Halloween next week, and I like all things spooky, and we're going to be talking about real estate nightmares. So nightmares that have happened to us in the real estate business, what we have learned from those nightmares, and how we can avoid them in the future.
Yeah, you say that, but they still pop up all the time. You think, oh God, this has got to be the worst transaction I've ever had. Never say those words, because something else is coming your way.
Something
you
else
just don't know.
Yeah. I did put it out there for everybody to, let me know some of their nightmares. So I do have a lot of stories over time, because some agents have been in the business for over 20 years. So, you're bound to have a story or two.
Oh, yeah. You're racking them up.
But I do want to take a moment, because we have 2 contests going on here at Boston Connect Real Estate. So ever since I started 9 years ago, everybody knows I love Halloween. So we started 2 contests for the Halloween season. So until next Friday, so Halloween, October 31st, we are collecting photos of jack-o'-lanterns, and we are collecting photos of pets in their costumes. We're running 2 contests. One is the jack-o'-lantern contest. So every year we do a jack-o'-lantern contest where you can submit your jack-o'-lantern. There's 2 categories, adult and kids. You can win a $50 Visa gift card or whatever, because we take all the photos, we put them on our Facebook. People can vote for them, and whoever gets the most votes, there you go. You get a $50.
Cute pumpkins.
It's so easy. Yeah, we do get some really great. I have somebody texting me being like, okay, this is what her daughter Braylon is going to do. Like, this is what Braylon's going to do. She's really into those really spooky things this year. She's at that age where she's like not really afraid anymore. So we love that. And then the pet one, we used to do a Halloween dog trot here. Yep. And then COVID happened, so we did it virtual. And then the past couple of years, we've been getting a lot of photos of other animals than dogs. So last year, the first photo I got was a turtle. The turtle was dressed up. And so I was like, you know what, this year we're going to do all pets. So all turtles, cats, birds, anything open.
Animal kingdom.
It's open to the animal kingdom. So submit, if you, have an agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate, you can submit your photo to your agent, or you can send it to administration at bostonconnect.com. And you can win prizes. So first place, again, we put them on Facebook and you can vote for them. I believe I did 3 days this year. Social media has 3 days to vote for their favorite pet or their favorite jack-o'-lantern. For the pets, the first prize is a basket full of goodies for your pal there, and second prize is a $50 gift card to Petco, and the third prize is $25 gift card to Petco. So perfect. It's easy, and people love it, and we get so many great photos.
Oh, man. Some of the costumes, the Chucky one kills me every time. The little Chucky knife, and then
oh yeah. We love it. Well, Edna was a cowgirl.
Edna was a cowgirl. She had a cowboy on her back one year, wrapped it around her, and she was like, woohoo.
Yeah, we love it.
Yep. I whip that costume out every year now, because she goes to doggy daycare at the lovely Dog's Den here in Pembroke, and they do a Halloween party for their dogs every Halloween. So everybody has to get dressed up, and it's Friday this year, so Edna will be wearing she'll be wearing her cowgirl costume.
There she is. Yeah. So if you have any photos, if you want to participate in our contest and win a great prize, you can send it to administration at bostonconnect.com, or of course you can send it to your Boston Connect real estate agent. All right, let's get spooky.
Okay, let's get spooky.
Okay, so
I know, like, which one are you gonna pick? And I'm like, oh yeah.
Speaking of Edna,
oh yeah, she's all over.
She's all over you.
I have not rolled yet.
So we'll keep it. We're not going to say any addresses for those of you listening.
We're not going to say towns, addresses, people. These are just situations.
These are situations that we have been in that could be considered a nightmare.
Yep.
But we overcame them, and
when the blood drains out of your face, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is going so."
We learned from them, and these are the ways that we're going to avoid them happening again. So, what is something that you want to share with everybody?
I think one of the best ones was, we had this house, and we had it under agreement. It was a flip house, and the people that were buying it were flippers, so they were very open to, it wasn't perfect, it was an as-is sale, so everything's great. We're rolling along. We're probably about 2 weeks out from close. And I get a phone call from the caretaker of the house because the people were living out of state that owned the house. So the caretaker calls and he's like, yeah, the house got broken into. The people cut the copper out of the basement, all the pipes, cut all the copper out of the basement, but left the water on. So the basement then filled to be about 5 feet of water in the basement. And finally, somebody realized what was going on and they shut the outside water off. And I just stood there like, I don't even know what to do. And literally, the water was up to like the 5th stair going.
It was up to your eyeballs, right?
It was up to it was over my head. I could have swam underwater in the basement. So we were just like, what? So you got to call the buyer, and you say, hey, this is what happened. Things happen. In this situation, the buyer was great. We came to an agreement. I'm sure we came down on the price a bit, but they were we're going to flip it anyway.
Yeah.
So don't, it's fine. We're going to go through with the transaction. So that was one that worked out. But when you get that phone call, you're like, what? The police were there.
You've never gotten a phone call saying, hi, I'm the caretaker of one of your listings and it was broken into and the thieves stole the copper pipes and now there's 5 feet of water in the basement.
I'm like,
just
you're
to
going
let
to
you know.
steal the copper pipe. Just shut the water off so you don't damage the rest of the house. We can live without the copper pipe, but the amount of damage that water does is just
I think we talked about this at some point during the show because I remember being like, oh, it's the wet bandits from Home Alone.
From Home Alone.
They rob the house and leave the water running. Well, these people stole the copper pipes out of the basement and never shut the water off. And how do you get 5 feet of water out of a basement?
Yeah, I just thank God for companies that actually do that. I'm not sure. I'm sure it goes down a lot on its own if you open. Because it was a bulkhead out, so it was like a step. Like there was no, it all got pumped out. There were just pumps working. Yeah, they probably had 5 or 6 pumps in that basement, pumping that water out of there as fast as they could. And then we went in and looked at it, and it was like, oh my God, it's just the rug, the wall. Again, it was a flip house. It totally needed work. There was old paneling in the basement, but with all that water, the paneling was just like falling apart in your hands. It was just, you just needed like a backhoe to take everything out of there. It was not good.
Okay, so what's something that you learned from that situation?
Secure the house. I'm kind of still trying to figure out how they broke into the house, but I think they just banged in the back door.
Well, when you have a vacant home,
probably should have just had the water off in the house. Would have been a safer bet.
Winterized it.
There was a person who was kind of living there, like the caretaker was kind of in and like not living there full time. So I'm not sure we would have thought to like shut the water off. But had we said that, we probably, when you leave, shut the water off. If your house is not being, lived in constantly,
what time of year
shut
was it?
the water off. Oh, that one was, I want to say March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to say it was March. So yeah, not really nice weather, or not quite nice weather yet, but just, and try to keep the house as secure as possible. Maybe a little extra protection on the house, especially if nobody's living there, because people do look at houses and they start scanning them like, they know.
Do.
And they cut in and they saw that it was on the market. So I'm sure they go in, they look at the listings and they see what's on the market. And then they drive by the houses. They don't see anybody coming and going. And they realize, oh, this house is not being lived in. So now we have easy access. It was covered by a Sleeping Beauty hedge of rhododendrons. Like you could barely see the house from the street. I'm like, it's like giving them we might as well have set up a tent and a caterer for them. Like there was you couldn't see them.
Yeah.
So they could have just, I'm sure they realized after they started cutting the copper out that the water kept running and they didn't know where the shutoff was. So they did miss a few pieces of copper because they're probably getting up to their waists in water. Like we got to get out of here.
I'd be afraid I'd be electrocuted.
Wouldn't you think?
Yes.
Yeah. No, they got a bunch of copper out of there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they must have planned that because how do you know that there's copper?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
there's like
the age of the house.
Yeah,
so the age of the house is going to give it away, and if it's going to be flipped and it's in industry, you could probably assume looking at it like, no, this house is about the right age, so there's probably a bunch of copper in the basement. It's probably a timing thing on that, I think.
Speaking of stealing, the Louvre.
The Louvre. Those men moved.
They moved
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah.
I think how long have they been planning that one? Like
it's like
running
over
with a
$100
ladder
million
of the side of
goods.
Yeah. Parkour. They definitely do parkour.
Well, yeah, they were up the ladder.
That ladder. Yeah.
And
In
then
the
gone.
window. 7 minutes
7 minutes.
to break into the Louvre. Who'd have known?
Who'd have known?
Who'd have thunk? Yeah.
Yeah,
that
and then
was
what do you do?
crazy.
And then what do you do with all that? Like you can't be like, oh, I inherited this.
So I have
this
St.
crown.
Louis. I have the St. Louis emerald necklace that I'm looking to pawn at some little stop.
And they were like on the news that they were interviewing somebody very knowledgeable about these jewels and everything, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, you can disassemble that."
But that's what I was thinking.
And I'm like, "Why are you saying that?" Like everyone's like, "Do not say that." Like there's the thieves.
Let's see if I
writing
can
notes,
help you.
like, "Oh yes, okay, well disassemble. We'll do this." Yeah, don't say that. But
I worked in a jewelry store for years. I worked for K Jewelers for like 7 years.
Oh,
I was a manager of one of the K Jewelers stores.
Disassemble one of these
You absolutely
necklaces?
could disassemble one of those necklaces. Super easy. Yeah, you just break the prongs back and you just lift that jewel
Pop
out.
that thing out,
Oh yeah,
and you'll never
super
know.
easy. Never know. But I would think the quality of those stones are going to be like, oh, that's an awfully nice diamond that you have there. That 10 carat,
Yes.
purple diamond.
Well, I also read that, there's a theory that somebody very wealthy hired these people to
keep them for
so they could replace themselves, or somebody who, is sort of at
Save
their level
starving.
of,
Save starving people. Come on. Do you really need to have a crown and a
there's a theory.
it doesn't
Well,
that
they found
doesn't
the crown,
shock
they
me
found the
even a
crown
little
on the
bit.
floor.
Oh, they couldn't get the crown. Oh, the crown was still there.
Yeah, they
It
found
was
the
that
crown.
beautiful necklace. That was the emerald necklace
they
with
keep
the
showing that one.
that dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Don't be
they
buying
got
any
away with that.
emeralds. Don't be buying any emeralds on eBay.
Yeah.
They're probably stolen.
Yeah. Dee's watching us. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Dee. So that
was crazy.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That would be a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare.
Okay, that would be a nightmare for anybody involved for the Louvre.
That's a nightmare for the Louvre.
That is a nightmare for the Louvre. Okay, so here is another nightmare. We'll sort of bounce between your nightmares and one of our agents had sent this to me. You can share that when there was a squatter in a house that barricaded himself in one of the bedrooms of the house. It was a foreclosure, then went out the window onto the roof and was hiding. I had to call the police. Thank God I waited for my client to arrive before I entered the property, so I wasn't alone. So Sharon shared a nightmare of hers a couple weeks ago. A gentleman at one of her open houses, she caught them going through, some drawers and everything, and had to call the police. And that's sort of how she handled that situation. The Pembroke police did coming right away and just defusing the situation, but you never know what you're going to do until you're in one. And, I had said to her, I said, have you ever found anybody stealing? And she's like, no, I haven't.
I've never seen anybody.
My immediate reaction was to say, sir, what are you doing? And I'm like, that's a lot tame than what I would have said.
Yeah.
But in this case, so one of our agents had gone. She was showing her buyer a foreclosure home. There was a squatter, and he decided that he didn't want them to come into the house. So he barricaded himself in one of the bedrooms, and then finally exited the house through the window onto the roof and was hiding there during her entire showing. So could you imagine walking upstairs into one of the bedrooms and then you just see somebody sitting on the roof? Through the window,
like an owl looking at you through the window.
Like, what are you doing in my squatting home?
So here's the walk-in closet. There's the squatter sitting out on the roof.
Yes. And so in a situation like that, yes, so it was great of her to know, don't go in the house without your buyer. Don't do anything alone, because a lot of the times we
go in to put the lights. Like I go in all the time. Like I had, because I want the buyer to walk in and I want the lights to be on. And I want it to look.
You want to showcase the property.
You want to showcase the property. You don't want to be walking in like, and not know
trying
where the lights are.
Yes,
and
trying to figure out which light switch, because every house has 10,000 and only one works. And especially in a foreclosure. But she I think it's either September or October is Realtor Safety Month, Awareness Month, and a lot of the times we are telling the world where we're going to be alone. Yeah. And or we're telling, where we're going to be at a certain time, and people know that because our job is to sell a house. So if we're doing an open house, we say, hey, I'm going to be at 123 Main Street from 10 to 12 today.
So if you're looking to abduct somebody, come on, get me.
Yeah, seriously. But a lot of our agents, they double up. They do open houses together. You and Jim have a date day. Sharon and Mark have a date day.
We're lucky because we have a partner like Trish and Nick. We have a partner,
date day.
Yeah, but by yourself, it's kind of like you
can
really
be
kind of
tough.
think about it a little bit more.
Yes.
I'm not sure guys think about it as just women think about it, but I always make sure I know those things that are so that are open maybe a little bit so I can, have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So in this case, she did the right thing. She did not enter the home alone. She waited for her buyer. She called the police after she assessed the situation of this guy not leaving at all. And he was a squatter and he sat on the roof during the time, and I think what somebody can learn from that situation, or all of us can learn from that situation, is to essentially do exactly what she did.
Yeah.
Your safety comes first. Yes, our job is to sell a home, but not when it puts anybody in danger.
Right.
So, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to read the room, literally.
Yep.
Read the room.
That's property lat. It's not like it's not like the sellers just left the house like, hi, I just left the front door open for you. All the lights are on.
Yeah.
They're just leaving. You're walking in. Totally different. Something that's a foreclosure where nobody's living in. You never know what you're going to walk in. You could walk into an animal. You could walk into a pack of raccoons that are living in the house as well, which would be equally as frightening if you walked in and not know what's going on inside.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but.
This is a divorce situation. So this one is divorce sale, and the remaining spouse with a restraining order on the other spouse demanding that he comes and removes items from the home that she can't get out. He does. Then she fails to get out and left the house a mess. And I was the one lugging items to the neighbor's house, to the end of the driveway, vacuuming, cleaning out the refrigerator. It goes on and on and on. So this is a walkthrough nightmare.
Yep.
So every situation is different. Everybody sells a home for different reasons. Sometimes it is divorce, and sometimes the divorce is not
amicable.
Amicable. It's not amicable. And in this situation, it was not. So when you have a restraining order against just that you are divorcing, it can get dicey. And the agent needs to be careful with communication too, because if there is some reason why the two parties can't communicate with each other, the agent needs to make sure that they give the exact same information to both. If they can't communicate with them at the same time, whether it's through an email with them both being on it or a text being both on it, they have to copy and paste to both. It has to be the same exact communication to both. So in this situation with a walkthrough, the one party was telling the other party they have to get their stuff out. They did, but the first party did not get their stuff out and was left for our agent to take it out. And our agent dealt with that situation by
I have a similar story.
Cleaning it out. And you know why? Because at the end of the day, it was going to be over.
Yep. Just get it done.
The buyer was going to buy the house. The sellers sell the house. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do in order for everyone to be happy.
Yes.
And no, I don't think that it's the agent's responsibility or mediate your divorce. But when these situations happen, you sort of, again, have to read the room and be like, okay, I got to put my cleaning hat on. I got to put this on, and just get it done what needs to get done.
Yep. I have a very similar story.
Yeah. Tell me about your story.
This is a good one. This is one of my nightmare stories. And it was a wonderful transaction. It just went horrible on the day of the closing. So the day of the closing, I get to the house in the morning and the movers are there and my clients I walk into the house. It is not packed up. The house is not packed up. We are closing at 11 a.m. I am there at 9:30 a.m. The movers are there. We are still there are pictures still on the wall. I'm like, we're not quite. They're like, it's okay because we're going to come back after the closing and finish packing. And I'm like,
No, that's not how this works.
That's not how it works. We talked about this. You were supposed to be out yesterday. But the movers had to change. And I'm like, and then I had the agent presenting the buyer standing with me in the house, watching me. So I send my sellers off with Jim to do the closing. I stay and I start getting packing tape out and I start packing. And we had a lot of movers and everything, but the other agent is walking around like, that can't stay. That can't stay. The garage has stuff in. My car was chock filled. This was my birthday, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I had to call Colin. I said, I can't go up and down these stairs anymore because I need my inhaler to finish. Like they were taking their timing was just completely, and they never the task. And they still can't get over that one. I'm like, I was boxing, packing, and watching the truck pull out of the driveway. And thank God the buyers were super nice. The agent, though, she was just like,
not so great.
She was very appreciative. You really got that done. But I said,
but I watched you do it.
And I watched you do everything. She was like, not helping me. Like, nope, those cement stones can't stay. Nope, that extra wood can't stay.
I would have lost it.
I was to the point, like I was losing my mind. And they knew that the movers were coming because they had done the final walkthrough and they were like, yeah, what time are the movers coming? And then it got bumped. They did their walkthrough probably a day earlier. So there was that day in between.
Yeah.
And they thought they could just go back to their house and finish packing. And I'm like,
the keyword is their house. It was no longer their house.
I think we're not comprehending. And so now I can tell you how I fixed that.
Yes. Tell me how you fixed it.
Every listing agreement I write, seller will be out of the property 24 hours prior to close.
That's big.
Out. Like not like we're go back. After out, you are out, and you will be out 24 hours prior to closing.
I love that.
Yep, that was one of my earlier sales too.
Yeah.
So it's like you learn. You learn a lot. Like trust people, and you think, oh, they know they have to be out. I mean, everybody knows they have to be out.
Yeah,
we make mistakes. We're young at one point in this career.
Yeah,
and you learn from your mistakes. But I did spend a bulk of my day boxing, taping, and then I do a big.
Oh,
they drop it on the front step. Break the brick front step.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, this actually this might be moving up on my list now that I start thinking about it.
Oh my gosh.
As we're transitioning. Yeah. So the guys are carrying the safe out. It's huge. It's a massive little squatty safe. Boom, drops it on the front step. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do about that? Thank you very much to somebody who I just adore. I called. I'll be there tomorrow. Fix it. Don't worry about it. No charge. People, we're all good. He came, fixed the step the next day.
Wow.
And the buyers were happy. The agent was happy. Everybody. It ended up being a great transaction. But that day, I think I just like all the blood was just draining out of my face.
Did you have to have a martini?
Oh, it was my birthday.
Of course.
It was my birthday. I'm like, the kids were taking us out for dinner. Both kids were still home. We were going out for dinner. I think I fell asleep at like 8:30 that night. I'm like, I am so done with this day. I'm never going to let this again. In print in every listing agreement. Out of the house, out. Locked door. You are not going back in 24 hours prior to close.
Consider it the day before closing.
Yep, don't even think about the closing day. The day before is your closing day.
I love that.
Yeah. So live and learn that day.
Yeah, you live and you learn. There was something that you said that I thought of something, but now I forget about it. But so being spooky. Yeah, I'm gonna bring an email because what?
No, I want to hear it. I can tell it's already going to be like a real spooky one. I can feel this is coming.
Well, this is a question that we get all the time. I didn't print it, so let me bring it up on my email because I emailed it to myself. This is a question that we get all the time when it comes to paranormal activity in a home.
Mm-hmm.
If something illegal has gone.
Mm-hmm.
So have you
Somebody has passed.
Have you ever had an experience at one of your listings or one of your buyers' homes where it's a paranormal or anything, or have you had any clients who that's something that they want to know? It's a criteria of theirs that they want to know if somebody has passed in a home, if there's any activity, or this is something that we do get.
Some people are looking for that. Like
Yes.
some people, like we've sold older homes in the area. So, and they're like, is there any like, we would love that if there was like do you have a ghost? Do you have anything that you can share that, because we would buy the house if there was actual, like, some people are actually actively looking for that. And then I've had a few where people have passed away in the home.
Yes.
And then, you don't really have to share that information unless somebody asks. Unfortunately for us, we did sell a house, and then the neighbors, after they had closed on the house, were like, well, you do know that the son died in the house, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, no, you don't tell people that. It's not a nice thing.
They told it to the buyers?
They told it to the buyer after they had already closed, though.
Yeah.
So it never came up in conversation. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I wasn't not disclosing it, but I did know that story. So
this question comes up when we do like our myths or debunking shows. And I was on the MAR website, so Massachusetts Association of Realtor, getting some information for our newsletter yesterday, and they have frequently asked questions to us, and it was spooky season. This was one of their top questions.
Sure
it
is.
said, as the listing, and am I required to disclose that a property is haunted or that a death occurred on the property? Here's the answer. No, you are not required to disclose suspected paranormal activity or deaths that happened on a property. These situations fall under the psychologically impacted property statute. Essentially, a death or a paranormal activity at the property is not a material fact under the law to be disclosed to potential buyers. You do not have a duty to investigate a proactively disclosed information about murders, suicides, paranormal phenomena, or other potential stigmas associated with the property. However, if a prospective buyer directly inquires about these events, a realtor, and we'll talk about the difference, a realtor is obligated to provide a truthful answer. If you do not know the answer, or if the buyer requests additional information, realtors should guide the buyer to an appropriate resource.
Such as?
So, the World Wide Web.
But yeah, I guess.
You can go to paranormalactivity.com or whatever.
Google the address and
Google the
see
address.
what you get.
Yeah, so we've talked about the difference between what's a realtor, what's a salesperson, all those things, a broker on the show. So a realtor is, somebody who abides by the code of ethics, is a part of, the boards, and, does additional training and has this R.
We have the R,
and we're held to
a certain set of
standards. You have to abide by a code of ethics, and one of them is to be completely truthful. So, if a potential order or anything has happened in a listing, you don't say, "Oh, I have this gorgeous 4-bedroom colonial that somebody died in 5 years ago. Please come and buy it," because that stigmatizes the property.
I think it's going to stop.
Not everybody.
Not all people. Some people are looking for that. Some people do actively look for that. So,
which is why I asked you. You do get it sometimes of saying, "Oh, do you have to disclose if somebody passes in a property?" Because people pass of natural causes in homes. If you're on hospice or there are certain different situations. So somebody may pass in a home, and this is New England. A lot of these homes have been up for a very long time. Everybody,
yes.
So the thought of somebody passing. Probably, unless you live in new construction. Someone probably hasn't passed in yours.
No, not in mine. But Jim grew up in a house that was built in like 1760. Like, of course, somebody had, actually, the dentist that owned the place did pass away in the house. So, but
even my house, I just had one. They built it in 1964, but I know that the husband had passed away, but I don't know if he passed in. I don't know if he passed in a hospital. I don't know if he passed in a nursing home.
And I'm not asking.
And I didn't really care to ask. I
don't want to know.
Yeah, I've lived in a home where somebody has passed away. It did not bother me, but there are certain situations where it does bother people. So we do sometimes get this question of, do you have to disclose if somebody passes in the home? And every once in a while, we do get the question, "Oh, but passed in this home," and we have to then go to our client and say, "Has anybody passed in this home?"
Yeah.
This is a question. But if if that is something that is important to you, if you are a buyer and you are out there and that's something that is important to you, you have to ask the question, because chances are people aren't just going to be like, oh, by the way, X, Y, and Z passed away
in this. Oh yeah, there was Dr. Berry who passed away, and no,
Dr. Berry.
Dr. Berry. That's a
Dr. Berry.
I made it up.
Yeah. So how's that for spooky?
Yep, that's the spookiest one that you do get occasionally. I don't get a lot of those though. So
You don't.
on that house, the antique house we sold, those people were actively looking for. They wanted.
antique house?
It was in Hanover.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were looking
Do I
for it.
remember that?
Yeah, it was on Elm Street.
Oh.
Beautiful home. Beautiful
yes.
home. Yeah. No,
Yes,
they
yes,
loved
yes.
it. And they would have been thrilled to have had a ghost that was going to reside there with them. So
Hopefully a nice ghost.
yeah, I wanted
Not-
somebody that
Not
was
a spooky, scary one.
yeah, not a spooky scary one.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. What's another story we got here? So, we'll do a domino sale. So, one of our agents had a 3 domino sale where the first domino didn't close the CD in the proper timeline and everything got paid.
Ugh.
This is why I hate Friday closings.
Yeah, I don't do them anymore.
But it was predetermined by the out of state first sale. So the first of the domino was out of state.
Oh.
Okay. And it was a 3-day weekend. So everyone was displaced for 4 days.
Yeah.
So that is a nightmare because
Friday with the Monday holiday,
yes.
big zero. No.
So I can tell you that
That's a live and learn moment. You don't really see it coming until it's dominoing right at you.
Here's what you learned from this. Never do a Friday closing on a long weekend, especially when there's a domino.
No.
So there are certain situations or certain listings that we take on and we say, okay, this is most likely not going to be a first time home buyer purchase.
Right.
It could be the price point. It could be, any number of factors. So you have to think, okay, the buyers coming in could potentially have something to sell.
Correct.
And there could be potential that someone needs to purchase their home.
Correct.
So, not everybody has the cash. Do you see where we're going with this?
We're going with this.
Oh, and then your seller, they also have to find somewhere to live.
Yep. Or finish the transaction on the purchase that they are going to purchase.
Yeah. So they might have to purchase something as well. So there's a domino here.
Ugh.
Not everybody has already sold their home and they're just renting and they can do whatever and they're flexible and they have the cash and,
Henceforth, where a contingency can sometimes be very problematic when you're making an offer on a home. So if you have a home, it always adds to the complexity of the closing.
Yes.
Because so you have to sell your house, and in order to close on your house to purchase the house, now you're into the domino effect, and you try to get it to go past two. But that's rare. It's usually because everybody has something to sell and everybody has something to buy and everybody wants to buy and everybody wants to sell. And then you've got mortgage companies and lawyers and scheduling, and it all has to go on record at the Registry of Deeds. I don't think people understand that there are many steps, and this is many steps on each transaction that have to go in a timely manner.
Yes.
Money has to be transferred. Wire, or God forbid the internet go down, and then the wire doesn't go through, and so keep going.
And in this situation, there's something that we can't control. So we're
not our transaction.
We're not involved in that transaction.
Well, and sometimes we are not involved in all these transactions.
Yes.
So you're working with 3 different real estate agents as well. So go ahead.
So let's keep this train going. Domino.
Here we go.
So the situation went awry because there is a time limit that a buyer is supposed to receive their CD. They have it to review, sign it, and everything. That time limit lapsed, and it was not. They did not sign it or review it in the proper time. So the clock needs to start at a certain time. It wasn't there. It wasn't started when it was supposed to. So that was the first delay. Then it was the fact that there were 3 homes that needed to sell. That is another delay. So the first one could go on record.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have one room. Next two are looking for a hotel room, and it is a holiday weekend.
Yep.
So
now you're talking 3 days of hotel stay.
No, we're not saying that, the attorneys and the real estate agents are on vacation. So no, we can't do it. The registry is closed.
Yeah.
The registry is closed. You cannot.
We are open 24/7.
Yes.
The registry, however, is not.
The registry is closed. So
4 o'clock.
If it is a holiday and the registry is closed, you are not recording a sale. So it will be recorded on Tuesday, but you're also at sort of the mercy of the attorney's schedule because they're the ones, doing the closing. You're making sure that things don't get kicked back when you put the documents in the queue, because sometimes the registry is like, no, we don't like that sticker, or no, this is spelled
that's
wrong.
My other nightmare story.
Yes,
yeah,
so we'll get to that. They all sort of intertwine here. And so there can be a domino. So to set yourself up for success, start with a Wednesday.
Yeah. Start on a Tuesday, Wednesday to get that process going.
Yeah.
If it's a one-off, sure. Like a one simple close, yeah. I absolutely failed my
and that is what this agent learned. So no longer Friday, because if she has to, it is not a long weekend.
Yes.
Especially if there is a domino. But these are all things, again, in the moment they're a nightmare, but a lot of the times we try not, like, we suffer alone or with each other as agents. We try not to get the clients involved in knowing our, like, oh my gosh,
we come in and sit in Sharon's office and cry like, she's like, all right, now snap out of it. You need to pull yourself together.
And here's how we're going to fix this.
Yep.
So yeah, we suffer together, and we come up with a solution, and so we go to our clients and say, hey, this is the situation. This is how we're going to fix it.
This is how we're going to fix it.
This is how we're going to fix it. Tell me about your nightmare.
Oh my gosh, that transaction that we had, we sold the house, and we were closing day. Everybody signed. The attorney is going to the Registry of Deeds. This was during COVID. Registry of Deeds filed the closing. The trust had expired.
Oh my God.
The trust had expired. So they couldn't complete the transaction. So
nobody had caught that?
No. And I had 3 very capable attorneys working on this, and not one, the one who drafted the trust, who was not part of the real estate transaction, but a very, very, one of my favorite attorneys, trust, and then the 2 attorneys that were handling the closing. So they went to file paperwork and they were like, oh, yep, sorry, we can't file. So it never went on record. 1 year later, I get the phone call from the attorney. Hey, you're finally going on record today. The agent representing the buyer kept calling me like, this is ridiculous. I'm not getting paid. I'm like, hey, I'm not getting paid either. Nobody's getting paid. And the poor woman who's living in the house is paying. And she did move into the house, and they agreed to a use and occupancy. Yeah. So, but I don't think we all thought it would be a year. Literally, I had almost forgotten about it. And I got the phone call from our attorney, and they're like, good news. Your name came up on the rotation today because the Registry of Deeds wasn't open during COVID, and the pile of paper just kept piling up. And if you didn't close, then you just went into the stack. Yeah. And you were hoping like one day somebody would grab you out of the stack. And basically one day that closing came out of the stack, and I got the phone call like, hey, you're going to close today. And they had to reinitiate the trust. So the woman that was selling the house was the mom, the daughter was selling the house, and the trust was in the mom's name. So, and the trust had expired. So they had to reestablish the trust and then refile. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I mean, that was
so what did you learn from that, and how can you avoid that?
I'm not sure I would have even looked at the trust. I mean, that was not even something that's kind of like
well, now you are. You say, oh, I'm going to sell this house. It's in a trust. Okay. When does the trust expire?
There you go. Yeah. I would absolutely. Anything that's in a trust, I'm like, and what's the date? Can I get a copy of that so I can just know what the date is, so that I know it's not going to expire before we close? Yeah. That was that one. But wow, a year. Almost to the day. Like, it was an October sale, and it was a year later we got the phone call that says, hey, you're going to close today. I'm like, woohoo. Woo, let's go.
Here is a situation where somebody has a change of heart.
Oh.
So, a woman sells her condo and is purchasing a new condo. Sells condo to a couple who has a house to sell. The buyer of their home was coming out of a rental. Things were going along as scheduled. With 2 weeks before closing, the woman selling the condo decides she is not moving. The impact on so many people was heartbreaking. The attorney explained that she was, what is that word? I think she might have spelled wrong. Culpable? Culpable. It's spelled wrong, but there you go. For damages. She did not care and lost thousands of dollars from her deposit. This one stumped me for sure. Everything came out of left field. So here is a situation of a change of heart.
Yeah.
So somebody
And that does
decides
happen.
in the final hours, you know what? I know well.
I love my home.
I love my home. I don't want to sell. I'm not moving. And that's that. I don't care what we lose, anything.
And it could be something valid. They could have lost their job. They could have had something tragic happen in their lives. You never know what people are facing. Most people don't just wake up in the morning and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna sell, even though I'm one day out from closing.
Yes.
It's usually something, hopefully.
Yeah. It does happen. And yes, yeah. You can change your mind, but there are consequences. And in this case, it was financial consequences, but it seems like this person did not care.
No, and the impact on all the other people was, that's horrible.
So somebody had already sold their condo, was purchasing another condo, and then that person was purchasing a home, and this woman decided, you know what, I don't want to anymore. And that's that. Like I said,
3-car accident. It's like a
three-car
accident. It's like a 3-car pile up that just goes.
It's like the dominoes just crashed into each other and just stopped. Didn't continue on. But yes, people have changed their minds, and it doesn't happen very often. And we try to avoid like buyer's remorse and things like that. And it is a very emotional process, and sometimes it is really tough, for certain situations where you need to sell a home, whether it's a home or you're selling your parents' home or anything. Like it is an emotional time, and I think that sometimes we take on the role of therapy and things like that, and it's to get our clients through a difficult time. But yes, people do change their mind. It doesn't happen as often as you would think, but it does happen. And like I said,
hope it happens earlier in the transaction, like between home inspection and purchase and sale. And then if your thoughts are already lingering that way, that's a better time to back out than it is to move forward.
We only have about 2 minutes left, but other circumstances that could be considered nightmares. So there could be home appraisals not coming in. That could be a nightmare. And you have to overcome that and renegotiate. Hidden defects after closing. So if there's mold, foundation cracks, unpermitted work, there are workarounds of that. Financing falling through days before closing. That has happened. I know that has happened to you. That could be a nightmare because if for some reason the buyer no longer qualifies for a loan for that property, they're finding out in the last hour.
And then you're struggling to get or in my case, last year, I was in Alaska. I had to put the house back on the market because the financing fell through while we were away.
Yes.
So. Oh gosh, that went by way too fast.
We have so many more nightmares.
We might have to extend.
Pat. We'll go into Thanksgiving. We're thankful that the nightmares are over.
There we go.
But thank you so much for joining me. I know you have a very busy day today. So I appreciate
so happy.
I will see you later on today.
I will see you today.
Christina's. But thank you everybody for listening. We hope that we didn't scare you too much. We do have some more nightmares. So if you want to, talk with us, we can.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Bye, Tim. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tim. Thank you.
Beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine?
The South Shore